Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my Dark Souls Platinum Trophy Guide. Today we're going to be embarking on a journey throughout Anor Londo. In a previous episode, we took out the Iron Golem, and today we're going to proceed to the next area of the game story-wise. And this is going to be probably the biggest area in the game, so it'll be split up into two parts. In this part, we're gonna finish it up with taking out of Gwyndolin in the Darkmoon 2. Some of the first enemies you will encounter are going to be these giant sentinels. You can either run past them or you can fight them. Personally, I like to just take them out and open these chests around the area, so we're going to do that first. Make sure that when you do fight them, draw them out one by one. You definitely don't want to be fighting them two at the same time. They have quite a bit of range to their halberd attacks. So just throw them out. You can see any kind of ranged weapon like a crossbow or bow will work, otherwise use spells and miracles. Kind of like my way of saying hi and yeah. Anyhow, yeah, these guys are pretty easy, so there will be a couple of upgrade materials in his chests. A lot of people have mentioned that these stone, this is a little bit of information lore-wise for the game. A lot of people mentioned that these guys could be illusions. Personally, I do not agree with that. In my opinion, there are different races kind of throughout the game. Like there is obviously, there are humans. There are also giants, such as Goth, and the giant blacksmith, and they're also kind of like these race of, I want to say, we'll call them demigods for now. Uh, People who belong to this race are like Ornstein, the other four knights, Artorias, Kieran. So they're sort of like demigods, and of course Gwyndolin, they're gods. So they have different animations as far as the death animation is concerned. Bam. Now, there's going to be another mimic chest right next to this one. It will contain the halberd weapon, the crystal halberd. This will be, if you're not interested in making crystal weapons, this will be the crystal weapon that you will upgrade to +5. And in case you're interested, there is another giant that you can take out for some extra souls. If you want to farm for some souls maybe, or hit the weapon. I believe you can get the giant halberd from them. They also can potentially drop titanite chunks, if I'm not mistaken. So these would be these and the two giant sentinels in Anor Londo before, in the throne room, I guess, before the boss fight, will be the guys that you would want to farm for the halberd or the titanite chunks. So now we're going to go ahead and rest at the bonfire here. I'm going to repair my equipment. I'm probably also going to change to wanderer gear just so I can be a little bit lighter. And let's upgrade vitality a little bit. Gonna bump that up to 30. Endurance. Dexterity. I'm gonna raise up my stats a little bit. And I think I actually got a couple of consumable souls that I can use. More than a couple, to be precise. Going for more of a quality build with this character. And I've also, before going into Sense Fortress, I've also became a part of the Sunlight Covenant, just so we can get the 10 Sunlight medals required for getting the Great Lightning Spear Miracle and the Sunlight Spear Miracle later on. I think I've received 3 so far, so that's not from co-op, that's just from summoning Solaire on different occasions. I'm going to go ahead and take the elevator all the way down. And there will be another gargoyle shortly after, so if you have not cut the tail of the gargoyle that you fought in the Undead Parish, this will be another opportunity to do so. Yeah, and you can see I got it right here. This weapon is required for the trophy. These gargoyles will also drop gargoyle halberds, gargoyle shields, and gargoyle helmets. So. Now the Demon Titanite, you get quite a bit of that in Anor Londo. There are a couple of hidden chests. There's also a Titanite Demon for you to fight. So make sure if you're planning on using a unique weapon, that make sure you pick up all the Demon Titanite available to you. Okay, and now we're going to arrive at another church area. Now this is probably one of the most dreaded parts in this game for me personally, just because I am one, I'm afraid of heights, and two, video games always seem to be falling off ledges. So really hate this part. Just like here. All right, there we go. Oh man, attempt number 1 unsuccessful. Okay, all right. Let's try this again. Perhaps the Claymore is not the best weapon to use for this part. I better use the magic instead. Alright. No big deal. We're just gonna go ahead and go right back up there, pick up our souls, and hopefully not gonna embarrass ourselves this time around. Okay, so let's try this one more time. Having an upgraded Aztec would have been really nice. Or you could even probably use a lightning spear. Speaking of which, I happen to have one of those from Sans Fortress, and I believe I have just enough stats to use one. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can switch out to one of those. Let's see, let's see. Yeah, lightning spear it is. At least just for this part. Oh, and it just seems like so ridiculously weak nowadays. I remember playing through the game for the first time and picking it up and Sans Fortress and thinking that it was like the greatest thing ever because up until then I was like using the Drake sword. So, and then I ended up buying Pike from Andre and upgrading that to Fire Path. Oh. And I was using that for the remainder of the remainder of my first playthrough and into the second one. Of course, since then they've nerfed the elemental weapon damage, so it'd be a lot more useless now. But back then, I was like the coolest thing ever. It was like, oh, you mean to tell me I can block and hit enemies? Man, yeah, that was good times, good times. All right, now before I go through there, I should probably show you guys how to get to this chest, shouldn't I? It requires only some rolling around, and that's it. Oh, totally forgot about that, dude. There's going to be another divine blessing in this chest, so I can go ahead and pick that up. Pretty easy to get to. All you need to do is just roll, pretty much. So nothing complicated about that. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to lower the rotating bridge. And up next is another gargoyle, and after that we will I will show you guys a Gwyndolin boss fight, and that will be it for part one. I'm gonna break it up in two parts, possibly three. Also, might show how to get the great magic weapon. I believe I'll be able to get just enough uh, intelligence after the Gwyndolin boss fight to pick up that spell. Okay, yeah, see, I received a gargoyle halberd and a gargoyle shield as well, so. And now we're going to lower the bridge one more time in order to access the Gwyndolin boss fight. Now, before we do anything, I'm just going to rest by the bonfire here so I don't have to backtrack all the way from the beginning of the level. If it's your first time playing through the game, Oh, and there's also a Ring of the Sun's Firstborn here that you pick up to increase the power. You would equip that if you want to increase the miracle power. So I'm gonna go ahead and rest here, and then we're gonna go and run into the Undead Parish. I mean, not the Undead Parish, but I guess the Anor Londo, the parish or a painting museum. It looks like a church, but it really isn't, or at least doesn't seem like it. I don't know what the heck it's called. And we're gonna pick up a great magic weapon sorcery. There are going to be quite a few painting guardians located here. So I'm just going to go ahead and dispatch them real quick, and we're going to be in this area later for uh, accessing the painted world of Ariamis. These guys drop throwing knives, and they will also drop the painting guardian swords. A very underrated weapon. It has tremendous strength when you have 40 dexterity. It does, I believe, close to 400 AR attack rating. If you buff it, it's tremendously powerful because it also causes bleed. The only drawback of it is the moveset. It's somewhat predictable especially if you hold it two-handed. Also, it has a crap range pretty much. So, okay, now picked up the great magic weapon. I don't think I can equip it quite yet. Might need to beat this boss, but let's see how much souls I have after using up all of my consumables. I definitely want to upgrade my intelligence to 15 so I can use the sorcery. Alright, and let's check out what we got. It's gonna be pretty close. Let's see if I'll be able to use it. I think I will actually have enough. Yeah, just about. And I can switch up. See if I want to still keep magic weapon. I'll probably still keep that, and then I'll have magic weapon and great magic weapon. Might seem like overkill, but oh well. And next up, we're gonna go ahead and am I gonna put a different ring in? Nah, I might not even bother with doing that. So okay. Now you need to put on the ring, the Darkmoon Seance ring that we've acquired in the catacombs, if you remember, in order to open up this passageway here. Also, it would be a bad idea to switch to a shield that will protect you from magic damage. If you want to join Darkmoon Covenant, Just say yes to his dialogue and join Darkmoon, so you will get a trophy for that. We're not gonna do it on this playthrough. On this playthrough, we're gonna receive the Sunlight Blade miracle that you get for killing Gwyndolin. Now, this boss fight is not particularly challenging. You have to do quite a bit of dodging to dodge his spells. And you want to try, ideally, you want to try to bait him into using this bow attack. Dodge these magic ball attacks that he throws at you. And there shouldn't be no problem. As you can see, he's almost dead already. You can hide from these projectile attacks behind a pillar, or just tank them with a crush shield, since it will absorb like 90% of it. You can also just roll through them. Kinda wanted to finish him off on this go, but I guess we'll have to wait a little bit. And there he goes. Easy as pie. Eternal curse upon me. Thanks, douchebag. Upon defeating Gwyndolin, you will get his soul, which, as is with previous souls, you don't want to consume. You just want to hang on to it because you'll be fortunate a couple of weapons from it. You'll also get the trophy for defeating the Dark Sun Gwyndolin. I believe you have to defeat him twice, just because there are 2 weapons that you will need to forge from his soul. So keep that in mind. Nothing in this chest. You will get the Sunlight Blade from the middle chest, and you will get the brass set that you saw the Anor Londo Nitrous wearing when you first got here from the 3rd chest. So hope you guys enjoyed this playthrough. And next up, we're going to go further into Anor Londo, and we're going to take on Ornstein and Small. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.